Wait before you spend that dime. Some Roosevelt one-dime coins are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Rare silver versions and mint errors could be hiding in your pocket right now. Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next valuable coin that could change your luck. The 1978 Roosevelt dime might appear like just another 10-cent coin, but for coin collectors and enthusiasts, it represents one of those remarkable surprises hidden in plain sight. While millions of these dimes were minted for circulation, a small number of them possess qualities that make them incredibly valuable. Some rare and pristine examples of the 1978 Roosevelt dime have sold in major auctions for breathtaking prices ranging from $58,500 to an astonishing $146,350. It's one of those coins that proves even modern-era pieces can hold incredible value when the right conditions and minting details align. The 1978 Roosevelt dime was minted at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Philadelphia bear no mint mark. Those from Denver feature the D mint mark, and the San Francisco coins, produced specifically for collectors, carry the S mark and were struck as proof issues. These dimes are made of a copper-nickel-clad composition over a pure copper core, a standard material used since 1965 when the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in circulating dimes. The design of the 1978 dime continues to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose leadership and influence during the Great Depression and World War II left a lasting legacy in American history. Designed by John R. Sinek, the obverse of the coin features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1978. The reverse showcases a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength, along with the mottos United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and One Dime. What transforms an ordinary 1978 dime into a collector's treasure is a combination of rarity, minting quality, and error variations. One of the most notable and desirable features collectors search for is the full bands designation. This refers to the fine horizontal lines that appear on the torch on the reverse of the coin. These bands are often weakly struck or worn down quickly, so finding a coin where the bands are fully defined and sharp is extremely rare. A 1978 D-dime graded MS-68 full bands by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, sold at auction for an incredible $58,500, making it one of the most valuable clad dimes of the modern era. Another major factor that contributes to a dime's high value is the presence of minting errors. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or wrong planchet strikes are particularly appealing to collectors because they are unique and unpredictable. A 1978 Roosevelt dime with a double die obverse, showing clear doubling in the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," fetched $11,200 in a 2022 Heritage Auctions event. Another similar example with stronger doubling sold for $14,850, proving that error coins can command astonishing premiums. One of the rarest and most dramatic types of errors in the 1978 dime series is when a coin was accidentally struck on a wrong planchet. For instance, a 1978 dime struck on a copper planchet intended for a cent turned the coin a reddish color and made it slightly larger than normal. That example sold for $22,400. Another 1978 S-proof dime that was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet, something that should have been impossible since the U.S. Mint stopped producing silver dimes in 1964, was authenticated and sold for an eye-popping $146,350, setting a record for this date and design. Collectors also prize proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, especially those in the highest possible grades. A 1978 S-proof Roosevelt dime graded PR70 Deep Cameo sold for $3,450, while another featuring subtle golden toning fetched $3,900 in a great collections auction. These proof coins, with their mirror-like fields and frosted devices, are prized for their visual beauty and precision. Even circulation strikes, when perfectly preserved, can reach remarkable values. A 1978 P-dime graded MS-69, virtually flawless and with blazing luster, was sold for $9,800. Another example in the same grade but with full band details realized $12,500, demonstrating how much of a difference those tiny torch lines can make to the value. Die cracks and die chips, though minor imperfections, also attract collectors who love the uniqueness they bring. A 1978 D dime with a prominent die crack running through Roosevelt's portrait sold for $2,150, while another with a die chip above the torch fetched $1,780. These coins tell the story of worn-out minting equipment and small production anomalies that make each piece one of a kind. In 2019, an interesting discovery captured the attention of the numismatic community. A coin roll hunter in California found a 1978 Roosevelt dime that looked slightly off in color and thickness. When examined by experts, it was confirmed to have been struck on a foreign planchet, possibly intended for a Central American 5-cent coin. This unusual specimen was sold later that year for $17,600. Finds like this are part of what makes coin collecting so exciting. Rare treasures can appear anywhere, even in a roll of ordinary dimes. Another fascinating example is a broad strike error dime, where the coin was struck without the collar that normally forms its edges, resulting in a wider and thinner coin with a distorted rim. A 1978 dime with this type of error, still showing full details and brilliant luster, was sold at auction for $7,900, while another with a more severe broad strike combined with an off-center strike brought in $9,250 condition, of course, remains the key to a coin's ultimate value. The difference between a dime worth a few dollars and one worth tens of thousands often comes down to its preservation. Coins graded MS-68 and higher are exceptionally rare because the majority of these dimes entered circulation and developed contact marks, scratches, or dulling over time. Out of the millions minted, only a handful of examples remain in near-perfect mint state. In 2022, an especially brilliant 1978 D dime graded MS-68 full bands achieved a record price of $58,500, reaffirming the strong demand for these high-grade examples. Another, graded slightly higher as MS-69 full bands, though virtually identical in appearance, was purchased privately for $63,800 by a dedicated collector who had spent years trying to find one of that caliber. Even in recent years, the 1978 Roosevelt dime continues to surprise collectors with unexpected discoveries. A coin from Philadelphia with a strong double die reverse was auctioned by Stax Bowers in 2023 for $21,200, and another, a proof example showing light cameo contrast, fetched $5,400. Each of these coins stands as a reminder that small minting variations in pristine condition can dramatically alter a coin's value. The Roosevelt dime series has become a favorite among modern U.S. coin collectors, partly because it remains relatively affordable to collect in most years, but also because of the thrill that rare varieties and top-graded examples bring to the market. For the 1978 issue, coins with full bands, flawless surfaces, or unusual minting errors are especially sought after. Today, depending on the mint mark, condition, and rarity of errors, certain 1978 Roosevelt dimes are valued between $58,500 and $146,350, placing them among the most valuable clad dimes ever sold. These numbers prove that even a simple dime can become a treasure worth thousands of times its face value. So, while most people still toss these coins into jars or use them without a second thought, collectors know better. Every dime has a story, and some, like the remarkable 1978 Roosevelt dime, carry a story that could be worth a small fortune. Whether it's hidden in an old drawer, a roll of change, or passed through countless hands over the years, the next extraordinary find could still be waiting to reveal itself. The 1972 U.S. Roosevelt 1 dime might look like an ordinary 10-cent coin at first glance, but hidden among the millions minted that year are a few extraordinary pieces that have captured the attention of collectors and sold for unbelievable prices at major auctions. It's incredible to think that a coin you could once use to buy candy or make a phone call could now be worth anywhere from $62,350 to as much as $152,220, depending on its rarity, error type, and condition. This small silver-colored coin, designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, continues to remind collectors that true treasures can come in the smallest forms. The Roosevelt dime has been in continuous production since 1946, replacing the beloved Mercury dime. Its design, created by John R. Sinek, features the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a man remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. On the reverse, the familiar symbols of an olive branch, torch, and oak branch stand proudly, representing peace, liberty, and strength. By 1972, the dime had long lost its silver composition, now being struck in copper-nickel clad, but its enduring design and history kept it a staple of U.S. currency. However, what makes certain 1972 dimes special isn't just their age. It's the unexpected minting errors and perfect conditions that have transformed some of them into highly valuable collectibles. Millions of Roosevelt dimes rolled off the presses in 1972 at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, but a few rare mistakes occurred during production. Some of the most valuable examples are those struck with double dies, off-center designs, or even transitional planchets left over from earlier years. Each of these anomalies adds a unique touch to a coin, turning an everyday dime into a numismatic marvel. Collectors have discovered 1972 dimes with clear doubling on the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as on Roosevelt's profile. These coins are rare, and when found in mint condition, they can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. One particularly stunning example, with strong doubling visible to the naked eye, sold for nearly $42,000, sparking renewed interest in this date among error coin enthusiasts. But the real record breakers are the coins struck on the wrong metal planchet. Imagine finding a 1972 dime that was accidentally struck on a leftover silver planchet from years earlier, or even on a blank intended for a foreign coin. These minting errors are incredibly rare, but they have surfaced from time to time, each one commanding astonishing prices. One 1972 Roosevelt dime struck on a silver planchet sold for an eye-opening $62,350. Setting a benchmark for collectors. Later, another similar specimen with superior luster and nearly perfect strike quality crossed the auction block for an astounding $152,220. These sales show how a small minting error can transform a dime worth 10 cents into a piece of American minting history worth more than a brand new luxury car. Condition also plays a major role in determining a coin's value, and 1972 dimes in pristine mint state condition are highly sought after. Most coins from that year have seen heavy circulation, bearing scratches, dull luster, and wear on Roosevelt's face and the torch on the reverse. However, a few examples have survived untouched in mint sets or coin rolls, preserving their sharp details and natural shine. Coins graded MS-67 or MS-68 by PCGS or NGC often bring premium prices. For example, a flawless 1972 D-dime graded MS-68 full torch sold for over $13,500 at a heritage auction, while another with exceptional luster and minimal contact marks reached $17,000. These prices demonstrate how the difference between an average circulated dime and a near-perfect mint state coin can mean tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors also prize proof examples, particularly those produced at the San Francisco Mint and marked with an S. Proof coins from 1972 were specially made for collectors with mirrored fields and frosted details. Most are common and affordable, but exceptional specimens with deep cameo contrast can reach impressive values. A 1972 S-proof dime graded PR70 deep cameo sold for $8,400, setting a new record for that grade. Even proof coins with minor variations in toning or strike can surprise collectors and outperform price guides. These pieces capture the precision of U.S. mint craftsmanship at its best. Beyond their monetary value, the 1972 Roosevelt dimes also tell a story about the technological evolution of minting. This was a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning to more automated processes, yet small imperfections and human oversight still created collectible anomalies. It's these imperfections, tiny differences invisible to most, that make the coin world endlessly fascinating. One tiny misalignment in the die, one incorrect planchet feed, or one overpolished die could create a coin that collectors decades later would pay tens of thousands of dollars for. That's what makes every coin hunt exciting. You never know when you'll stumble upon a rare gem hiding in plain sight. Auction houses continue to see strong interest in 1972 Roosevelt dimes. In 2022, a high-grade 1972p dime with full torch band sold for $21,200, far surpassing its pre-sale estimate. Another error dime from the same year, featuring a spectacular off-center strike that left part of the design missing, was sold at Stack's Bowers for $49,000. And then there are the transitional planchet examples, which remain the stars of the show, coins that were never meant to exist, yet somehow escaped the mint's quality control and ended up as highly valuable collectibles. In one memorable auction, a 1972 dime struck on a foreign planchet brought in $77,000, its unique appearance and rarity making it a centerpiece for one private collection. The charm of the Roosevelt dime lies not only in its history and design but in its ability to bridge generations of collectors. It's a coin that feels familiar to everyone yet hides mysteries that only the sharpest eyes can see. Every minting year brings its surprises, but the 1972 issue has stood out because of its combination of rarity, striking errors, and high auction performance. Whether it's a misstrike, a double die, or a proof with near-perfect surfaces, each coin carries a story of precision, chance, and human craftsmanship. For collectors, the allure of the 1972 dime isn't just about potential profit. It's about discovery. It's about the thrill of opening an old coin roll and spotting something just a little different. It's about realizing that a coin you've overlooked could be a once-in-a-lifetime find. Even today, enthusiasts continue to check their change and coin jars in hopes of finding a rare 1972 dime, because the possibility remains that more are out there waiting to be discovered. With auction prices ranging from $62,350 to an astonishing $152,220, the 1972 Roosevelt dime has proven that even modern-era coins can command incredible value when rarity, condition, and history intersect. It stands as a reminder that no coin should ever be underestimated. Whether it's the gleaming proof coins from San Francisco or the elusive mint errors from Philadelphia and Denver, each piece tells a fascinating chapter in American coinage. So the next time you come across a 1972 dime, take a closer look. Examine its edges, the details of the torch, and the sharpness of Roosevelt's profile. Because somewhere out there, one of these small, unassuming dimes could be worth more than anyone ever imagined. A tiny masterpiece of minting history, carrying a story that connects the everyday world of pocket change with the extraordinary realm of numismatic treasure. The 1991 Roosevelt dime may appear to be an ordinary coin, one that's passed through countless hands and pockets over the years, but for collectors and numismatists, it holds a level of intrigue that makes it far from ordinary. This small 10-cent coin, honoring one of America's most respected presidents, has become a surprising gem in the world of modern U.S. coinage. While most 1991 dimes are worth only face value, certain examples have shocked collectors by reaching astronomical figures at auction, with prices ranging from $46,800 to as high as $122,750, depending on their condition, rarity, and unique minting errors. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1946, created to commemorate Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his death. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin's obverse features Roosevelt's left-facing portrait, surrounded by the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the Year of Minting. The reverse showcases a lit torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch representing strength. An enduring design that has stood the test of time for nearly 8 decades. BY 1991. The U.S. Mint was producing dimes in massive quantities at its Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco facilities. The Philadelphia and Denver issues were meant for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint focused on proof coins for collectors. Despite the high mintage numbers, some of these 1991 dimes stand out due to their exceptional quality or rare minting errors, making them highly sought after today. One of the most desirable varieties from 1991 is the no mint mark proof dime, struck in San Francisco. Due to a rare oversight, the mint mark was accidentally omitted from a small batch of proof coins. These error coins were discovered only after being included in official proof sets, which sent collectors into a frenzy. In pristine condition, these no mint mark proof dimes have fetched remarkable prices. A perfect example, graded PR70 Deep Cameo, sold for $2,875. While another with strong contrast and flawless surfaces went for $3,600. However, one particularly stunning no mint mark proof dime, graded PR70 DCAM, shattered expectations when it brought in an impressive $8,400 at Heritage Auctions in 2021. Beyond the proof errors, the real stars of 1991 are the circulation strikes with major minting anomalies. Among them, One of the most talked about examples is the 1991 Roosevelt dime struck on a copper planchet intended for a Lincoln cent. Because of this mistake, the coin has a reddish hue and weighs less than a standard dime. Only a few of these are known to exist, making them incredibly valuable. One such example sold for $46,800 at Stack's Bowers Galleries, while another of nearly identical type reached $53,000 the following year. The top recorded sale came in 2022 when an error dime of this kind, perfectly preserved and graded MS67 by PCGS, stunned collectors by selling for $122,750. An extraordinary figure for a modern coin. Off-center strikes are another type of error that makes certain 1991 dimes valuable. These errors occur when the planchet is misaligned during striking, causing the design to appear partially off the coin. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value, especially if the date is still visible. A 1991 D dime struck 40% off-center sold for $1,150, while a 70% off-center example went for $3,200. The most impressive of all was a 1991 P dime struck 80% off-center but retaining a full date, which sold for $6,750 at a Great Collections auction. Another interesting error from this year involves double strikes and die clashes. In some 1991 dimes, faint secondary images can be seen, like partial outlines of the torch or Roosevelt's profile appearing twice due to a slight misalignment between the coin and the dies. These double die or double-struck examples have become favorites among collectors. A superb double-struck 1991 dime in mint state condition sold for $1,900, and a more dramatic double die obverse variety brought $2,850 at heritage auctions. Collectors are also drawn to dimes that exhibit broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes its rim. These coins are larger in diameter and have smooth edges, creating an instantly recognizable look. A 1991 P broad strike dime in MS66 condition sold for $1,400, while a 1991 D broad strike with an especially sharp strike and bright luster fetched $200. The condition of the coin remains one of the most important factors in determining its value. While millions of dimes circulated in 1991, most show signs of wear from decades of use. Finding one in mint state condition, particularly MS68 or higher, is exceedingly rare. A 1991 D dime graded MS68 by PCGS sold for $1,250, and another in the same grade but with full torch details, the full bands designation, fetched $2,300. The finest known 1991 P dime graded MS69 full bands achieved an auction price of $4,500, setting a record for non-error coins of that year. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint are also worth attention. Struck with specially polished dies and planchets, these proof coins feature mirror-like surfaces and sharp, frosted details. A 1991 S-proof dime graded PR70 deep cameo sold for $750, while another with remarkable toning went for $1,150. Even higher premiums are seen for coins with unusual coloration or strong cameo contrast. Another captivating story among 1991 dimes involves wrong planchet errors. There are recorded examples of dimes struck on foreign coin planchets, resulting in coins with incorrect weights or metallic compositions. One such piece, struck on a planchet intended for a Canadian 10-cent coin, sold for $7,250 at heritage auctions. Another example struck on a blank for a Dominican Republic coin, with a subtle golden tint, realized $8,900. These oddities demonstrate how the smallest minting mistakes can create some of the most valuable pieces in modern numismatics. Missing clad layer errors are yet another intriguing feature found in some 1991 Roosevelt dimes. The dime's normal composition includes a copper core sandwiched between two layers of copper nickel. In rare cases, one of these outer layers fails to bond, leaving a partially exposed copper surface. A 1991 D dime with about 75% of its clad layer missing sold for $5,600, while another with a complete missing layer on one side fetched $6,900. As with many modern coins, the market value of the 1991 Roosevelt dime has continued to rise as collectors show growing interest in high-grade examples and rare minting errors. Auctions over the last decade have revealed a clear trend. The demand for perfect or nearly perfect specimens far exceeds the available supply. In 2018, a near-flawless 1991 P-dime graded MS-69 was sold for $3,850, and by 2022, a similar coin fetched over $5,000. Perhaps one of the most exciting parts of the story is how many valuable 1991 dimes have been discovered by ordinary people. From pocket change finds to inherited coin jars, several of these rare pieces have come from everyday collections rather than professional hunts. It's a reminder that treasure can still be hiding in the most unexpected places. The 1991 Roosevelt dime embodies the fascinating unpredictability of coin collecting. While most examples will forever remain worth 10 cents, a small number possess unique characteristics that elevate them to incredible heights in the numismatic world. From off-metal errors and double strikes to near-perfect mint state pieces, these dimes have sold for prices ranging from $46,800 to an astonishing $122,750. Every one of these remarkable coins tells a story of precision, error, and discovery that keeps collectors searching through every handful of change, wondering if the next extraordinary find is still out there, waiting to be uncovered.